So here we are in the Coachman Apex Nano 194 PHS. A couple of more modifications here that we're doing. This one is a little bit more unfortunate, unfortunately, if there is such a thing. This is the furnace that I have out. And we couldn't figure out why the furnace would never kick in. And when we were able to kick it in, it was by removing the front plate. And what I found was really weird was the front plate here had this aluminum foil that you see on the left hand side between this flange and the discharge part, which is this. And this is not my first rodeo with campers. I've built a few of them myself. So I'm very familiar with this. And what was really weird is instead of this thing sitting perfectly on top where it should, see if I can capture that, it was offset about an inch to the aft and a half an inch up. Make that 3/4 of an inch up. And so there was partially block hitched. The best way I can illustrate that is if you can picture this thing sitting here, but it was kind of off. Instead of going straight up, so I figured out, well, what was going on there? So the plate that this thing was sitting on, which is here, had blocking. It was cut, so it was blocking full intake to the furnace. On the bottom of the furnace, you can see that it sucks in air through the blower here, and it was now only getting air through here. It was blocking off the air on the bottom, which is not a big deal, but take that combined with a partially blockage on the outside, and I start figuring out, well, what is going on here? Well, it turned out in basic terms, what I did is I simply cut this out, then I created another plate that is 3/4 of an inch, and I simply just put that on the top of the already existing plate. But really what was wrong is they cut the hole through the camper an inch too far forward and an inch, 3/4 of an inch too low. Well, don't want to cut another hole in the camper, so the only way I can fix that is by cutting a little piece out of this front box that it sat in. I'll remove it over there. When it's all said and done, this front plate will be up and covering everything except for the 2 screw holes on the back side, but I can live with that. Another concern I had, because of the hole was cut higher than it should be, was the drainage back into the back side of the furnace, because now you have a slope inward, so if it was really tenacious rain, water could potentially leak back in via the exhaust pipe into the furnace. So yeah, it sucks, but you know what? This is some difficult times. The industry is suffering, and some people would bash the company. I'll say this: I'd buy the same thing tomorrow. They gave me a very, very good price on this, and I have no issues with it. I'm a believer in that the industry had to do what they had to do to crank these things out. They have already suffered a catastrophic failure of that industry back in should we just say 2008 to 10, and then further even. And so I'm really okay with that. This video is not meant to bash anyone. I love my RV. I'd buy it tomorrow. I really, really do, or trailer. But it is meant because I was fortunate to have experience with this and could not figure out why the furnace would not light. Brand new, just picked it up a couple of weeks ago. So if that is the case, feel free to comment. I can help you a little bit more in detail. But basically, a 3/4 of an inch plywood was cut out, laid on top of the existing plate. Hole was cut out to facilitate the extra intake, so the furnace gets all the air it needs, not just partial. And then we fixed it by raising it, moving it an inch forward. So anyway, I will see you soon.